What's poppin', y'all? Cenat has found himself in a new beef that he was invited to, and it's about botted streams. And this beef is against who was formerly the biggest North American streamer, which is XQC. I would say even English speaking streamer, not just North American streamer. And this started in this first clip where XQC talks about it.
Even Kai is pretty natural too. I don't be some of Kai's friends though. I'm not. Hey, if I speak, if I speak.
Wait, I saw you talking about something.
V-butters?
What did I see? Yeah, what was up with that? What happened?
They're all V-butters. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck saying it about these days. I'm not bro. Imagine thinking that I play this racket where like I need those like collabs. I don't give a fuck. They're all V-butters. So I don't care to say it. People become like
ready?
like from a 1k Andy to 20k Andy overnight. Like bro, I mean I've been here before. Like I'm not stupid. Like that's just fucking bought out the wazoo. And I would be open to the conversation that like it's their agency doing it. It's like these new guys like they come from Hollywood. They don't know, so like they're just trying to like.
So here he's accusing Rakai and this dude Reggie, basically these like AMP junior division that seemingly came out of nowhere. The Rakai guy, I had seen him before. He was a teenager that was in Cenat's Mafia-thon. So I got to see that name in that scenario. The Reggie guy, I had no idea, but they start streaming on Twitch after Cenat gets them a house, and they're pulling crazy numbers that are absurd to XQC. And then Cenat replies, and this is a funny one. So I'm gonna run you guys this clip.
Like on this clip right here, nigga, you know, I feel like people are entitled to their opinion. People, you know, could just think whatever they want. You know, that's fine. That's okay. Psych, I fucking lied. I'm tired of the dick riding. Get off my dick. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. It's like, I be holding back too much. I'm about to just let shit rain. Like, I'm tired, nigga. Like, I ain't even gonna lie. Fuck all of that shit. Fuck all of that. Nigga, fuck all of that shit, nigga. Fuck that. Listen, okay? Delayed in what? Am I delayed right now or no? Am I good? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1. Like, you might not realize it, but I'm gonna help you. It kind of look like you dick eating. Like, real shit. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny or mean. I'm gonna go ahead and say it looked like you dick eating just a little bit.
So from here, he doesn't really address the botting accusations. He just says like, yo, this guy's a hater. And there have been comments thrown back and forth between XQC and Kai in the past. Just like gentle subs, you could say. The outburst or two. XQC, not necessarily. But XQC responds to Cenat's rebuttal and tells him to address the point that he's trying to make. And this is the point that he's trying to make. I'm going to run you guys that clip.
You haven't seen the build up to where they at right now.
What is the story behind the 4 days in a row under 40% chat rates? Listen, I'm not. Forget about what I said. Forget about anything that I know or don't know. Explain what type of story or what endeavor gets you to sub 40, sub 30% validation rate in chat. Explain it. I don't know. Just explain it. 4 days, 5 days in a row. I mean, I don't. Why even attack me? Attack my story, bro.
And XQC's not letting go of this because he doubles down and even puts money on it that these people are botting.
You feel me? But like, I'm pretty sure Felix knew all of that shit, but still decided to say it.
Bro, I promise. Okay, this comes with the bum in my heart. I promise. At this point, I could easily save myself and say, yeah, whatever, and just kind of walk away from this dialogue. Okay, just for the sake of the argument, just for the sake of, in general, about just having integrity on botting, bro, I'm doubling down. Bro, I have to. I swear on everything with what I know and what things that I look at and I analyze that I've shown. I'm not like just saying it. I truly believe it. Whether it's them, a viewer, a mod, an agency, whether it's some like Bulgarian basement dweller, like fucking bot maneuver or whatever. Somebody's doing something that's tampering. It doesn't matter.
And then he goes on and adds that at this point, he should be talking to Neon if we're talking about a botting situation. So I'm going to play that clip for you guys right now.
If any argument, if any point, if any stat is to be disregarded as dick eating, okay, then go with Neon. I mean, what about it?
Saying shit like, from the outside perspective, Felix, I mean, you being a grown ass man. This is not no diss or nothing. It just look like you dick eating, and it's weird.
When these guys get buried in the discovery of just chatting or Twitter discovery, because everybody's botting, I better not hear a fucking soul talking about view botting. When everybody does this shit, people already all do it, let's be honest. When this shit gets so commercialized that everybody's view botting, and you can't get views naturally because everybody's above you in the directory, I better not hear a fucking breathing soul about the topic. I don't want to hear about it.
And it's like, then you say you joking, and it's like, okay, now what is?
One of the rebuttals that people made was TikTok. Oh no, XQC doesn't know. He's a boomer. He doesn't understand how popular these guys are on TikTok. Their clips are going crazy on TikTok. And XQC addresses this comment as well.
Not the same magnitude and saturation. Like, if you were to use the argument that, oh, if you're all over TikTok, you go crazy. Okay, then how is Ron not 100K Andy then? Then explain how Ron and FaZe aren't like 100K each Andy, because they're all over the place on all socials. A lot more than some of these guys.
And like, let's point out the elephant in the fucking room.
And how come
Who cares about the story?
And how come all those viewers aren't on Xbox or PlayStation, and they're not on Tamagotchi, and it doesn't give you a validated viewer? How come these are all invalid viewers that don't register in the system? How come? But Ron, most of them are on Xbox, but these are on Xbox, dude.
So from here, we're getting a good representation of XQC's argument. And on top of that, Your Rage even went and talked to XQC and said, or made a clip saying that he should just let people know in private. And XQC has a great response that I actually co-sign.
You get in a lot of these situations sometimes. You feel me? SCT, you like the of this streaming shit. You've been out here for you've been streaming, one of the first streamers, you feel me? You've been streaming on this bitch for years. In my opinion, to avoid drama and looking like a hater, whether you're telling the truth or not, I haven't looked at shit. I don't give a fuck. I think you should just slide in some DMs from now on. You feel me? Nope,
I don't do that shit. Sorry, man, I don't do that shit. Hey, if you do something in public, brother, you're in the scope of the public. Again, if you do some shit in the public, I look at it at a public's eye and I call it in the public. Again, I'm not gonna go hide in the fucking DMs and be like, yo, dude, dude, blah, 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 and try to like cut a deal or something like that. It's just not. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it.
If you see some sussy shit.
So now we're gonna go over all of this because I've actually got unique experience in this entire conversation. Not that I botted something myself, but I know I'm pretty good at guesstimating what's real, what's not. So what the metric that XQC is using to say that they're botting is that, hey, the chat rate in comparison to the amount of viewers that they get just doesn't add up. And that's something that people came at Neon with as well. I think Neon was the first gross level of botting that I had ever seen in my entire life, because number one, it was on Kick as a platform, and you just see the guy getting 100K viewers, 80K viewers, and you see the chat barely moving. And Kick is different from YouTube or Twitch, because Kick, the only way you could watch was on your desktop. So if you're on your desktop, it's a lot easier to type. Eventually they released a mobile app, but even with a mobile app, you can type to a degree. But from there, you saw like 10 people in the chat. So 10 people, of course, I'm being hyperbolic, but a couple of people in the chat for tens of thousands of viewers didn't add up. The chat should be flying at that point. So we know that Neon was botting for a while, but it's like, how much was he botting? Was it from 10K to 70K? Who knows? But the streaming industry now incentivizes botting. And this is why I respect XQC calling it out in public and talking to your disregarding what Your Rage was saying, because number one, the context is that XQC and Kai Cenat are not friends. I wouldn't even, like, they're not really cool like that. So XQC, I wouldn't say he has this obligation to hit him up in private about it. And then number two, if he does hit him up in private about it, is he allowed to say it after or not? Because if he hits him up in private about it, how does that look? Like, yo, I think you guys are botting. He's probably just going to consider him a hater anyway, because this hinges on whether or not Kai Cenat knows and believes that they are botting and is friends with XQC. Because if he's not friends with XQC and XQC hits him up about it, he's going to be like, man, this guy's a hater. He's hated on me before. He's just hating. And it'll just turn into an argument, and it's not going to go anywhere. But if he is cool with him, he might think like, okay, let me look into this. Or he might just not care. Like, hey, the numbers are there. The numbers are there. I'm not saying Kai Cenat. I don't believe Kai Cenat would co-sign botting. I will say that much. But XQC is just saying like, hey, there's this percentage of chatters. And this is where I am inclined to agree but disagree with XQC at the same time. The reason why I say this is because I've never heard of this Reggie dude. And the fact that if this person is getting 20K plus viewers, that is not a thing. Granted, Academics gave his own perspective and says that he believes people like Kai Cenat have brought in a completely new audience to the idea of streaming and a new generation. So there are more stream viewers now than there were in the past. Because at one point, if you had 20,000 on Twitch, you were the biggest guy on the platform by far and large. I remember when XQC was averaging 20K, Soda Poppin' was averaging 20K, I think. This was in Tyler 1 was averaging 20K. I think even Greek God X, he had hit 20K a couple of times when he was back in his prime. But this is like 2000 teens. So 2000 maybe 18, 19. And the 20Ks is huge, especially as like a just chatting streamer and not in a particular game. Because even 10 years ago or so, there were people averaging 20K in a game like League of Legends, for instance. So there's that. But XQC is from an era as well as from a group of streamers that primarily grew on Twitch and their audience formed on Twitch, because we're looking at the metric of chat engagement. So on Twitch, there is a big chat culture. So people that have watched Twitch for a long time, there are specific emotes that are only on Twitch. There are specific extensions that you have to download to your browser to be able to see certain Twitch like emotes. Otherwise, they'll just look like text on your screen. You're like, why are people spamming this? But if you have the extension, you can actually see the GIF or that particular emote. So there are all these things. And then it becomes kind of like a culture. And a lot of people, they grew with the streamer. So they started watching the streamer with a couple hundred viewers, and they're in the chat, and the streamer's constantly addressing them in the chat. And then they make friends in the chat. So there are certain chats where people are friends with each other, and they met through the chat. And they'll DM each other through Twitch. This isn't a function that's available on YouTube, for instance. Or, I don't know about TikTok. Like YouTube, you see someone in the chat, you can't really DM them. The chat isn't really incentivized. I think a lot of people max screen the chat or max screen the YouTube live stream. So this is important because to be able to actively chat, you're most likely on PC. If you're watching on TV, if you're watching on an iPad, even if you're watching on your phone, you're unlikely to chat. And this is important because XQC and a lot of these other streamers, they come from a gaming background. Before XQC streamed or became like a just chatting, gambling, like reaction streamer, he used to stream a bunch of different games, but at one point he was famous for streaming Overwatch, and before that he streamed League of Legends to nobody. And the majority of people that are watching are also gamers themselves. So they have PCs. They're on the PC. And they're typing in the chat. And some people are also watching on console. I'm talking about the newer generation. So if people are already accustomed to using a PC, it's easy to type. So I think with even Kai Cenat's viewers, a lot of them are watching on console or iPad or television. And you're not going to type in that scenario. And the streamers, like this culture of streamers, there isn't this level of interaction with the chat that incentivizes chatting that XQC has and has become accustomed to. So that's where I disagree, and that's where I'm explaining the possibility of this being real and addressing the point that Kai Cenat didn't address, which is why are the chatters at 30 to 40% if the views are real? I do not believe the views are necessarily real. I believe they're inflated. The reason why I believe they're inflated is because streaming has become an industry now. And when it becomes an industry, there are bigger figures that are incentivized to pump up numbers. For instance, let's just look at album sales, right? Or streams. A lot of record labels started to, and this has been a historical thing, it's not recent, but when there's an incentive for your artist to be number one, because you can promote that they're number one and get more people to listen to them and invest in their career because they're number one and they're popping and they want to know, like, what am I missing out on? Then you're incentivized to game the system in whatever way, whether that's botting streams, whether that's buying albums, whether that's shipping more physicals, whether that's doing things like Jay-Z, where you do a deal with a company, like for example, Sprint, to buy a ton of your albums, so you're automatically selling 500,000 first week or more. All of these different things that you can do. And with streaming now, and I think Cenat blowing it up to the mainstream and putting these guys on. Like Cenat, I don't know if XQC realizes that he's almost an A-list celebrity. He's like an A-minus list celebrity, maybe B-list celebrity, because I don't think many I would say B-list celebrity, because A-list, I feel like adults would have to know who they are. And Mr. Beast is A-list. Like, adults know who Mr. Beast is, probably through their kids, but they know who he is now. Cenat, I wouldn't say so much, so I would give him B-list celebrity. The majority of Twitch streamers are niche famous. Like, they're not celebrity. They're not even D-list celebrity. So there's that. Cenat is also appearing in a lot of these guys' streams. So people will go check out their stream because Cenat is on it. And I believe Cenat may even be hosting them. And if you're being hosted, your chat is going to have way less chatters because people may just leave Cenat's stream on and then it plays whatever other streamer that they're watching and they don't even see that chat. It's just that stream on Cenat's page when you're being hosted. So there's also that possibility. But like I said, with the incentive, if there's a new company that is managing any of these guys, they want to make sure that they're more popular than they actually are. And these people are paying clipping services, number one, which is, it's part of the game. You have to do that. I wouldn't say you have to do that now, but if you want to be omnipresent, you for sure have to do that. If you want to have your own audience and be a full-time streamer, you can do it on your own. You just clip your own stuff and you don't have to mass spread it through all of these pages. But if I am seeing something that this Rakai guy is doing or something that this Reggie guy is doing, which I'm seeing every now and then, it means there's clippers behind it because I don't follow those guys. I don't look at what they're doing. I don't even see what Cenat is doing. And that's somebody that I somewhat tune into to keep up with. So what is it to bot someone's streams to the top of the directory to also let people know, like, yo, this guy's averaging 25K and he just started streaming last week. Now people are like, yo, this guy's lit. He came out of nowhere. I need to check him out. And it looks like they're providing very entertaining content for their demographic. Like, he had Lil Tay over, there's drama, there's breakups, there's, oh, he left me here. There's all that stuff. It's like basically like teenage drama, you could say. It's like Disney Channel watching it in real life reality TV. And this really, really harms upcoming streamers that are not botting because now you can't even really compete. And I think this is where XQC, I think XQC is not necessarily against people being put on, but I think the way he looks at it is, yo, people are being put on and they're being botted while I had to stream to nobody for years. Like, XQC was streaming to barely any, like less than, I think, 100 viewers for a couple of years. And another example of this where I will say views don't translate the way that people want to claim that it does is Miskiff. Like, Miskiff is one of the biggest streamers right now, but he got on initially because he was a character and cameraman on a very popular streamer at that point in time, Ice Poseidon's RV stream. This was probably 2017, 2018. So that dude Miskiff starts streaming on his own, and he got a couple of people watching him. He had about maybe 50 to 70 viewers. So Ice Poseidon was averaging like at least 8,000. It was in the tens of thousands that he was averaging. And 50 to 70 people start watching Miskiff off of that. And then Miskiff basically grinded it up himself from there to the tens of thousands, or at least like 8,000 plus that watch him now. So that just goes to show you that there's another example, albeit this is like 7-8 years ago, that got clout off of somebody co-signing them, but still got a fraction of the audience. Now, I do think the cosign there was different because Mizkif built the audience up himself while these guys are collaborating at the same time with Cenat. So there's that. But I'm willing to say if these guys are getting more than 5,000 live viewers on without being hosted and they just crack open the stream and they're doing their content, I don't really believe it. The 20,000 is hell no, ain't no way on God's green earth. But like XQC even said, people can be botting for them and they don't even know. And I've seen that happen here and there. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Another point that I wanted to address and I forgot. Some people were saying that Cenat's streams are fake or because they pulled up poll votes. So, for instance, I Show Speed, he had like a couple 100,000 people watching him, and they showed a poll which showed 200,000 votes. So that's very, very high vote participation. And then on Twitch, they showed vote participation for Cenat, who had 100 and something thousand viewers. And there were probably less than like 6K votes overall. Now, this ratio is not so good, but this is just how it works for Twitch and YouTube. There are less vote participants on Twitch. I think there are many people that watch Cenat stream on Twitch that don't even have an account signed up. They just watch the stream. So they couldn't vote because they don't have an account. Meanwhile, on YouTube, damn near everybody has an account. It's just high vote for participation is higher on YouTube. You could do the same for Dr. Disrespect, who gets a ton of viewers, and someone else that gets similar viewers on Twitch. If they were to both run a poll, the person on YouTube with the same viewers would get more vote participation. So that's not a fair comparison. Although in theory it's fair, but when you play it out, it's actually there's just higher engagement for that particular thing for voting, I would say, on YouTube.